Hey kids, welcome to the first episode of Miss Shivak's Dancing with Decimals. This is just going to be a quick decimal review, just talking a reminder of what decimals are, the relationship between fractions and decimals, and review of addition and subtraction with decimals. So it's all stuff that you should know, but it's just a quick review because it's always good to hear it again. So first, let's just talk about the relationship between fractions and decimals. I've got three fractions written here, 1/10, 1/100, and 1/1000, and I'm going to write them as a decimal. So 1/10 as a decimal would be 0.1, because this one is in the tenths place, and we have one of them. So 1/10 equates to 0.1 because 1 is in the tenths place. 1/100th would be written as 0.01 or 0.01 because now our 1 is in the hundredths place. Right? So this is 1/100th, right, which makes sense. 1 over 100, 1/100th. And we have one of them, so we've got 1 in the hundredths place. Finally, 1/1000th would be 0.001, or 1 is now in the thousandths place. Right? So we have 1/1000th or 1/1000th. It's the same thing, right? We can write any single decimal as a fraction out of 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, so on and so forth. Any base 10 or number or multiple, or not multiple of 10, power of 10. So 10 to the first, 10 squared, 10 cubed, all those. Any decimal can be written as a fraction out of 10, 100, 1,000, etc. So let's look at two different decimals. We're going to look at 0.53 or 53 hundredths and 0.704, 704 thousandths. Right? So if I wanted to write this as a fraction, as I said, any decimal can be written out as a fraction out of 10, 100, or 1,000. We just need to look at where is our last digit falling, okay? So in this case, we have 53 hundredths because our 3 falls in the hundredths place, and that's our last digit in our number. So we could write this as 53 hundredths. Another way to think about this is also, I've got a 5 in the tenths place, so I've got 5/10ths plus, I've got a 3 in the hundredths place, 3 100ths. Same thing, 53 hundredths is 5/10ths plus 3 hundredths. Because if we change 5/10ths to hundredths, it'd be 50 hundredths, and another 3 hundredths would give us 53 hundredths. Same with 704, or 0.704, 704 thousandths. I've got 7/10ths here in the tenths place. I have 0 hundredths in the hundredths place, and I have 4 in the thousandths place. So I can rewrite this as 7/10ths plus 0 100ths plus 4 1,000ths. And if I put those all together, this would be 700 1,000ths plus 0 1,000ths plus 4 1,000ths would give me 704 1,000ths. So why is it thinking about it this important in terms of when we add and subtract decimals? Well, it matters because when we add and subtract decimals, everybody knows we need to line up the decimal points. Okay? So if I were doing the problem, 0.53 plus 0.704, I know I have to line up my decimal places. Right? I could put a 0 here if I wanted because it makes me happy. Add away 7, 4, 0 plus 4 is 4, 3 plus 0 is 0, 5 plus 7 is 12. I put down the 2, I carry the 1. Right? There's 2 zeros here, so 1, 0, and 0 gives me 1, and I keep the decimal in the same place. So I get 1.234. Oh, how cool is that? I didn't even plan that. 1.234. So let's look at it in terms of our why we need to line up the decimal points. We need to line up the decimal points because we need to add the thousandths to the thousandths, the hundredths to the hundredths, the tenths to the tenths, the wholes to the wholes. If we don't line those up, the wrong size pieces are getting added to the other wrong size pieces, right? Remember when we add fractions, the pieces need to be the same size for us to combine them. So in our case right here, I'm going to move this over a little bit to line things up better. So remember, this was 7/10 plus 0/100 plus 4/1000. So I need to combine the tenths, I need to combine the hundredths, and I need to combine the thousands. This one doesn't have any thousands, so we'll just put 0/1000. So we need to line up the decimal places because otherwise we're combining the wrong size pieces. So 5/10 plus 7/10 would give me 12/10, or 1.2. 300ths plus 0/100 would give me 3/100, or 0.03. And then finally, 0,000s plus 4,000s would give me 4,000s, or 0.004. So what do I end up with? 1.2 plus 0.03 plus 0.004 gets me exactly back to what I had here, 1.234. Same thing with subtraction. Now, to make life easier for us, I'm going to keep the same numbers, but I'm going to change them around. We're going to subtract 5300s from 704,000s because 704,000s is bigger. So let's think about that. We had 704,000s minus 5300s. I'm going to put a 0 there to make our life a little bit easier. 4 minus 0 is 4. I can't take 3 away from 0. Well, I can, but I guess it's into negative numbers, which we aren't quite there yet. So I'm going to borrow, essentially I'm borrowing 100 from 700, making that a 6, and I'm putting it onto the 100 on over here. So now I have essentially 104 minus 30, but we're just looking at the 10 minus 3, which gives us 7, and 6 minus 5 is 1. Bring down the decimal point, 0.174. So what if I again write that as fractions? 7/10 plus 0/100 plus 4/1000, 5/10 plus 3/100 plus 0/1000. Well, let's look at this. 4/1000 take away 0/1000 is going to leave me with 4/1000. Now I've got the same problem here. 0/100 minus 3/100. So I'm going to borrow again from here, right? 6. I'm going to make that my 10 because I'm borrowing essentially 1/10 from over here. So I'm putting it over here. 10 minus 3 would be 7/100. 6 minus 5 would be 1/10. Right? So I get 1/10 plus 7/100 plus 4/1000, or 0.1 plus 0.07 plus 0.004, and I get 1.174. Right? I would not expect you to do a problem this way. All I wanted to do is show you why we need to line up the decimal points. We need to line up the decimal points because we need to combine. When we add and subtract, right, we have to have a common denominator. Well, here's our common denominator, it's 1,000. Here's our common denominator, it's 100. Here's our common denominator, it's 10. We need to line up the decimal points because that keeps the denominators common and in line. That allows us to subtract and add. So that's it for decimal review. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon with the magic of multiplying.